Hello guys, this is Joshua Hawes. As you can tell by the time of the video, I'm doing a review for Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. Just in case you're wondering why I'm at the same time, I filmed it the same day as last week's video. But yeah, so Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. This is going to be one of the most weirdest and interesting reviews I've done yet. Because, sorry, I've just got a notification on my phone because I'm using my phone because at the time of this recording my camera's not working. So yeah, this is just Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. This is probably one of the most weirdest films to review, because in the sense that, like, sorry, maybe that's a bit better. In the sense of, this is so much happens, and it's just so weird, because technically, if you watch this film this isn't a grey movie, but for fans of Harry Potter and this Wizarding World, it's a good movie, but with some big flaws because there's so many unanswered questions, and the problem with these unanswered questions, they might get resolved in the next film whenever it comes out. I think, judging by the fact that they were going to have one of these films come out every 2 years, they were supposed to come out this year, but we've heard nothing about it, and due to current situations, they might not even have started filming. We don't know. So this is just such a hard kind of film to review, because if we had the entire trilogy, like for Star Wars, for the most part we have the entire trilogy. I've seen all the movies. By the way, my episode 9 review is gonna be delayed. You've probably already seen it. But the time this recorded, that's been delayed. But yeah. So this is, if you have the entire trilogy, you can easily see how important that film is. But we only have 2 films of the Fantastic Beasts series, and this sequel just opened up so many questions and loopholes that might get onto the next film, but we don't know because it's just not. We just don't have the full series, so that makes this a very difficult film to review. But in terms of the film, in terms of technically the film isn't great. It's a decent film, but it's just so much stuff happens without an explanation. That just doesn't make sense. First of all, Eddie Raymond's great. Eddie Raymond, the main character, is really good. Once again, he was really good. Basically the cast that was from the last film were really good. Tina and Newt Scamander have some really good chemistry. They did in the last film. They just seem to have some really good chemistry and work well together. Young Dumbledore, at the time of this recording, I don't know who played him, I can't remember his name, but he was really good. He was brilliant at being this young kind of Dumbledore, to the point where you could say this tripod's different. To the point where you could be like, he's definitely Dumbledore, but he's not the Dumbledore. He hasn't developed yet, so to the Dumbledore we know from the movies. See, I thought that was really good. He played this young Dumbledore. Johnny Depp as Grindelwald. He's good. I think he was really good at the character. Apparently when they were first doing this series and they will think about who to play it, there was a lot of kind of hate towards, not hate, but like is Johnny Depp the best idea? And I would think that too, because I had seen the Pirates of the Caribbean for the first 2 films, which are good. He just doesn't seem someone who's going to play this huge criminal at large in the Wizarding World, be a main villain of a huge series. But I thought he did really well. I really liked how, in the fact, he shows that he's very good at manipulating people to join his cause and thinking he's the right. And they kind of show that there's no side really in the right. As we know from the last film, the Ministry of Magic or the Wizarding World have really strict rules, like you can't befriend a Muggle, you can't have any sort of kind of relationship with a Muggle, you have that strict rule. And there he's not going good anywhere, but he's telling people the flaws of those strict rules to join his evil cause. So it's hard to kind of see like who's the bad guy in this situation, because Grindelwald wouldn't be at large if they made the rules not strict. Even Dumbledore says this to some people in the Ministry of Magic in this film, but yeah, it's a very weird film to kind of review, because they put so many questions and things that canon do not make sense, but they might sort out in the other films. Like, so this is such a weird film to review, because let's just talk about what my thoughts of it. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was pretty good, really enjoyable film. I had a lot of fun with it. I liked kind of nostalgia kind of things, like Nicholas Flamel's in this film. And of course, if you know, although we don't see him in the Philosopher's Stone, he does play a big part in it. We actually see him for the first time in this film, and that was pretty cool. Like, it has the nostalgia. I feel like this is going to be one of those. It's a bit like The Last Jedi when it first came out. For the most part, not including me, because I loved the film, but it was liked by most people, but the core, like, Star Wars fans did not like the film. I feel like this is kind of the opposite. The core Harry Potter fans are going to like this film. I like this film. But in terms of everyone who's not really a fan getting into it, they're not really a fan of it, they might not enjoy it because... And the big problem with this film is that you can't watch this by yourself. You need to have the context of the past films and everything else. This can't be the first Resident World movie you see, because it just doesn't make sense. You need to watch Harry Potter and stuff like that. And you kind of need to watch, like, because I watched the last film but the day before, this film kind of made sense. But you don't, if you don't have that, this is a terrible film, because it kind of does, in that sense, it's a terrible film, because it's just, it feels like the entire thing's just the middle of a movie, not its whole movie, which is kind of a problem. I don't really feel like it has the big structure of the beginning, middle, the end. It kind of messes around with that, and it's just a very weird film. I enjoyed it. I thought some of the magic they used in this film was really good. The cast was really good. So I like this film. It's an enjoyable movie for those Harry Potter fans, but in terms of a properly structured movie, it's not great. So I don't know what to rank this. Like, it's a very just weird film. There is some nostalgia. Like, we got to go to Hogwarts, which is cool. I feel like we need to know how this place is once we get all the other things, because these films were supposed to be coming out once every 2 years. Like, the first film came out in 2016, the second film's come out in 2018, which means 2020 that the third film was supposed to come out this year, but we haven't heard anything, and they can't really film it because global situations. So it's going to take a while to truly know where this film stands, because we don't have all the other films. So this is a weird film to review. I enjoyed it, but there are definitely some flaws in terms of, like, issues and stuff like that. This is a tough film to review. David Yates, the director, I thought was good. He kind of knows what Harry Potter fans kind of want, because he's been directing Harry Potter films since The Order of the Phoenix, so he's been the kind of main director for these Wizarding World films, so he kind of knows what the fans want, which is probably why the Harry Potter fans will enjoy this film. But I feel like he just doesn't know at this point, because he's so used to doing what Harry Potter fans like. He's kind of not done the best in terms of making it available to everyone to encourage new fans. I think you need to watch the original, the Harry Potter films, if you become a fan of that, then watch these films to kind of really understand, because I don't think they're good films, but I feel like you need to watch, even though these films are based before it, you're gonna have to watch the Harry Potter movies to truly understand what is going on in this story. And I am very interested in the story, because this story doesn't end until the 1940s, and the first film is set in 1926, and this is based in 1927. So I don't think that it's going to be only in the Fantastic Beasts movies. I feel like this is going to be a part of the story, but it won't be, all the films won't be called Fantastic Beasts, because the beasts are becoming a less important factor. Like, they're an important factor in the first film, but in this film they kind of felt like shoved in, which is another problem. Like, it just didn't make sense with everything that's going on, and you're shoving these beasts in because He's good with beasts. They just when they used the beasts, it felt a bit shoved because it wasn't the main plot. Like you didn't really get to discover like the book. Like I mean, the creatures. You don't really have the time to discover these creatures because they're just shoved in. You only learn a few things. In the last film, you really went into these new animals magical animals which you had never seen before, and it was interesting. And the problem is with these people the animals they've shoved in, for the most part they're new animals. If it was the animals from the past film, it would make sense because we didn't need an explanation. But it was cool to see these new animals, but magical beasts. But they just felt shoved in and don't really add anything to the plot of the film. So that's kind of my review. It's a very weird review. I think we're going to have to wait till the entire series is out to truly know where this film stands. But I would say out of all the Wizarding World films at the moment, this is probably the weakest. But then again, we don't know like the story today. Maybe these plot holes and loopholes are going to be answered in some way. So we really just don't know. So I would give this film a 6.7 out of 10. Yeah, 6.7 out of 10. I wouldn't give it a 7 out of 10 because it's just, at the time, because we don't know how this series is going to go. We don't know, like, where it would stand out because we had nothing else to really compare it to. But it's still a good film, so I can't really say long term is this film better than the first film and stuff like that. So I think a 6.7 out of 10 is a good swap for this. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the film. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you yet, turn on notifications so you never miss a video. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.